Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this. Brad Garlinghouse is not your regular crypto CEO. We've seen him time and time again being in some of the most important rooms on the planet. The last piece of the puzzle was clearly the United States. We just witnessed Brad sitting at the same table as President Trump. People may view this as just another coincidence, but I doubt it. Once you see this, and if you looked at this over the years, there's Brad with SWIFT, Brad with the IMF and the BIS, Brad with the president, Brad with the ECB, and so on. This all happened because everyone knew, everyone in the know knows XRP is the future. They know that the financial system needs a major upgrade, and Ripple is that upgrade. RippleNet and XRP. And we are finally starting to see the puzzle piece, which is the United States, getting put in place. And I honestly think we are very close to us going from the traditional system into the digital system. It's just a matter of time. You see, this is how they restrict you from becoming wealthy and cashing out to get your wealth. The same will be done in crypto. They'll limit how much you can withdraw to protect you. It's bullshit. This comes from Blue Hawk Legend. North Dakota Senate passes crypto ATM bill limiting daily transactions to $2,000. Now, most ATM cards have a limit already, even if you're taking out cash. But when it comes to crypto, there's going to be better ways to transact in crypto instead of going to the ATM, in my opinion. And institutions are going to open up those possibilities once they get here. Right now, we're still dealing with the traditional financial system. That will eventually come to an end as we go digital. dLocal is a Ripple partner. dLocal, the leading payment platform connecting global merchants to emerging markets, has announced a strategic partnership with Bell Money, the first remittance as a service provider in Europe. The rails keep getting put in place, if not by Ripple directly, through partners of Ripple, rail after rail for XRP to run on. This comes from Jack the Rippler. I believe the SEC will now classify XRP as a commodity like gold. XRP is basically digital gold, the fuel for the new financial system. I agree with that as well. I think they're going to classify XRP as a commodity. They were just looking into that recently, and there was some talk about that as well. But I always looked at XRP as so much more. I look at it as the world's bridge currency. It can bridge anything of value. It can move anything of value. It will also work as a trust layer in between countries that are transacting with each other. I see the possibilities for XRP always rising, because every time you think you heard it all about this cryptocurrency, there's always more to know. The Wolf of Wall Street says, new 83% of institutional investors plan to increase their exposure to crypto in 2025. This comes from Coinbase. And I totally agree with that. I think institutional investors are very eager to get into this space. Now, out of that 83%, how many of them are going to park their money in XRP? I would say most likely 70% of those institutional investors. Once the XRP ETFs go live, it is going to be a game changer. It is going to look so much different for XRP once that happens. Axelar Network says the XRP Ledger EVM sidechain is open source and decentralized. All the best tech is open source and decentralized. With Axelar, dApps on it will be accessible to all users on the XRP Ledger. But when is this going live? Here's Brad Garlinghouse talking about the EVM sidechain.
I wanted to ask you as a subset of that about XRPL. I know that you're not the chief product officer, but one of the things I'm interested in is the EVM sidechain. And what do you think could come from that when that's deployed?
So look, I'll back up and answer that, but people forget that the XRP Ledger was really at introduction, it had an embedded decentralized exchange. At introduction, it had a tokenization engine. We didn't call it a tokenization engine, we called it an issue asset framework. But that's a tokenization engine. It has an embedded AMM. Now, I think anytime you're thinking about development of core L1 technology, you have to. There are going to be trade-offs. There's going to be trade-offs of capabilities and performance, scalability, cost. So XRP has focused on a certain set of use cases that I think is exceptionally good. And back to our earlier comment, it's not a zero-sum game. There's going to be other L1s that are better at other things. That's awesome. Now, one of the things we were getting a lot of requests for, and I think the XRP community overall was getting programmability as a, hey, we can't do certain things we think are critical. We introduced some ideas around the ability to support an EVM sidechain last, I think it was sometime in Q4 or early Q4. We are hopeful that that goes live in the first half of this year. Wow. So we shall see. I think there's always going to be this balance of we want the XRP Ledger to be exceptional at scalability, speed, and low-cost transactions. And there is I think, a demand to bring other capabilities. And so the support around the EVM sidechain, I think, is going to be great, allowing people who are proficient in Solidity, et cetera, to be able to participate, I think, is going to be great.
What he's telling you is you're going to see projects, more projects, coming and building on the XRP Ledger. And Brad was smart with that. Early on, they wanted to make sure that it was all about scalability and keeping transactions cheap and also moving tokenized assets. And like he said, there's going to be other L1s that are better at other things, but they want to stay focused on moving the world's money. Now, the EVM sidechain will also bring more value to XRP as well. And it's good to know that that's going to happen sometime between now and the end of June. Can XRP reach a new all-time high as the Ripple lawsuit is over? Do you know how many people I've seen asking this question? It's not a matter of will it achieve a new all-time high, because that's going to happen. It's when is it going to happen? You can't really put a time frame on it. You could get all the people in the whole entire crypto space that will give you different time frames that it's going to happen, but nobody really knows when. I'm predicting it would most likely happen in the coming weeks, but we got to wait and see, what kind of announcements we're seeing. Are we getting NDAs now being announced? And are we getting big players announcing that they're working with Ripple and utilizing XRP now? That's what we're waiting on. And that will trigger the next leg up for XRP. And it will lead us to a new all-time high. The entire crypto space should thank Ripple for the past 4 years. Ripple fought for themselves, the XRP holders, and especially for the crypto space. Thank you, Ripple. I see so many people they cannot congratulate the XRP army. They cannot congratulate any XRP holders. They can't even say thank you, Ripple, for fighting the good fight against the SEC. Instead, they're still spewing FUD and misinformation instead. And it brings me to the next post. This comes from Digital Asset Investor. I'm all for putting the tribalism behind us. Unfortunately, the maxis on the other side never put their weapons down and were forced to defend Ripple and XRP. I hope this time is different. Here's what Brad had to say about Bitcoin.
I own Bitcoin. I've owned Bitcoin for a long time. I first bought Bitcoin in 2012, coming out of an event when I was first introduced to it. And I am bullish on Bitcoin, period, full stop. I'll leave it at that. Like, there's lots of other things that people say about me, and I don't think I've ever tried to be anti-Bitcoin. There are things around that statement that people will say, oh, well, Brad said Bitcoin is controlled by China. My response to that is there was a period of time where a vast majority of Bitcoin mining was in China. That is no longer the case, and I think that's good for the industry.
And you own Bitcoin through that period anyway.
For sure, yeah.
Brad can say whatever he wants about Bitcoin. He could say he's bullish on it. Doesn't matter. The Bitcoin maxis hate XRP and they hate Ripple. And there was another post underneath this, a reply that showed where they were talking about the energy that Bitcoin consumes. Now, Chris Larson is a lot different than Brad Garlinghouse when it comes to Bitcoin. Chris shows you how you can actually move Bitcoin across the XRP ledger very fast and very cheap. But he doesn't like the fact that it's very energy consuming. But Brad and Chris are two different people. Brad has always been bullish on Bitcoin. I've heard him say it multiple times. All he wanted, though, for XRP and XRP holders was a level playing field. And I think that's what we're finally getting in Washington now. And the Bitcoin maxis cannot come to terms with that. And I'm not anti-Bitcoin either. I'm just anti-retail investor being liquidated by big bag holders. Because I know a lot of the retail investors that are in Bitcoin, they work hard for their money. They're working class people. And I don't want to see them become victims of big bag holders. That's why I'm always criticizing Bitcoin. Just in, BlackRock says Bitcoin is an emerging global monetary alternative. And right away I said, meaning it won't be part of the new financial system. XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, ADA, QNT, IOTA, Algo. These 8 are confirmed, and a few others will be added. And if I was going to name a few that will be added, I would say Casper, DAG, Velo, SCH, or SHX, whatever it is for Stronghold, because I bought Stronghold because I think it's also going to be part of the new financial system. Casper, Nexera is another one. LCX is going to be big. I mean, any cryptocurrency that you see tied in with IBM or somehow partnered up with IBM, they're going to be part of the new financial system. Then you start looking beyond that and start looking into AI. A0 is another one. They're all great cryptocurrencies. They're utility-driven cryptocurrencies with real-world use case as well. And these are the first 8, though. These 8, I would say, definitely hold a little bit of each of them if you want to get that financial freedom. And some of them are still really undervalued. XDC is absolutely very undervalued. HBAR is still undervalued. XLM, I thought it would have caught up better with XRP. It should be sitting well above $1 right now. ADA, a lot of people think it's overhyped, but it's a great cryptocurrency. QNT, people think it's overvalued. But again, when it comes to scarcity, QNT is the king of scarcity. There's less QNT than there is with Bitcoin. And QNT actually has use case and utility. And as Internet of Things and smart cities start to really amp up, IOTA is going to be an absolute powerhouse. Algo is still building out and growing, and it has a massive ecosystem. It's a well-rounded cryptocurrency as well. And every one of them are ISO compliant as of right now. And you know, I'm becoming a very big fan of Scott Bessent, the Secretary of the Treasury of the United States. Take a listen to what he says here.
I got to travel around the world meeting leaders and trying to figure out what the next move was in policy.
I think this is important because I've spoken with folks who trade in macro. And a big part of the role of being a macro investor, macro trader, is really knowing where central bank action is going to be, really knowing how government bonds are going to move, and spending time with economists, not just central, but around the world, and learning a little bit about how capital is flowing all over the world. Is that kind of the right way to describe that role of being a macro investor, just for folks? Yeah,
you know, it's a lot of that. There's another great macro investor called Bruce Kovner, and he had this saying that he said, you know, I succeeded because I could imagine a different future and believe it could happen. So the key is to believe it could happen, and then
what he's talking about is vision to see what's coming. XRP investors always had that vision. I think it's what set XRP investors in a different place than where every other crypto investor is. In other words, it put us ahead of all the rest because it took vision, you know, just a few years ago to see where XRP would be today. And everything we've seen and had a vision for back then is happening in real time right now. It sets us apart from the rest. Having that vision, and anybody that knows what they're holding when they're holding XRP, they have that vision. And that's what makes a lot of XRP investors similar to other XRP investors. Even when you see somebody post something, you're right away, you say to yourself, I totally agree with that, 100%. And it's because you were thinking the same thing at the same time, because we all share one vision for XRP. And you could see what's coming next. That massive network is not going away. It's building out in real time right now. And it's not 10 years out. It's not even 5 years out. It's going to happen within the next 12 to 24 months, in my opinion. It is going to go live. And all of a sudden, you know, you're going to have real-time payments. You're going to have AI talk amping up. This was just the beginning. It's still like we're still in the calm before the storm, but the storm is almost here. And that's where we are as XRP investors. But until it all happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.